solving equations with x squared by completing the squared notes. Now, this is one of the more difficult things we're going to do this whole year. It has a lot of steps, and you really need to watch the video through completely to try to understand it. You may have to actually even watch it twice. It doesn't take that long, and I think after you try a couple, it'll become more clear. So we're going to be using perfect square trinomials to solve these, so using yesterday's lesson. So I want to solve this equation, x squared plus 10x plus 21 equals 0. Okay. What makes it hard to solve is that there's an x squared and an x, and I can't put those two together because they're not like terms. So here's what we'll do. First thing, move the positive 21 to the other side of the equation. So it's plus 21, I'm going to subtract 21 from both sides, which leaves me with x squared plus 10x. Now leave a space before you write the equal sign, and then write negative 21 over here. We're going to leave a space because we're going to add something to this equation to make it a perfect square trinomial. And then we'll have to add something over here to keep the equation balanced. So now we're going to do what we did yesterday. Take the middle term, 10, divide it in half, that's 5. And then I'm going to square it and get 25. That's just like yesterday. Now we're going to add that 25 to both sides of the equation. So plus 25 here, plus 25 here. Now, on the left-hand side, we have created a perfect square trinomial, which, if you remember from yesterday, factors to x plus 5 squared. Remember, the half of the middle term is always what goes here. Okay. On the right-hand side, I'm going to add negative 21 and 25 and get 4. Now this is much easier to solve. I can get rid of the squared by taking the square root of both sides. So that cancels that. The square root of 4, though, there's two answers, positive 2 and negative 2. So I have to take x plus 5 and set it equal to both of those. Then I would subtract 5 from both sides for the top one. 2 minus 5 is negative 3, so that's one answer. Subtract 5 on the bottom. Negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So I end up with two answers. So what we learned yesterday, make it a perfect square trinomial, where we take half the middle, square it, add it in. That's a crucial part of this process. So let's try another example. First step is always to move the 15 to the other side. And you're just going to do the opposite. So if it's positive 15, I'm going to subtract 15. When you rewrite it, leave a space after the 8x because we're going to write in something there. Now we're going to make this a perfect square trinomial. So take 8 divided by 2 is 4, square it is 16. Then I'm going to add 16 to both sides. I have to add 16 to both sides to keep the equation balanced. Now, this factors to x plus 4, which we can write it as x plus 4 squared. And this side ends up as 1. Now I take the square root of both sides to cancel that. The square root of 1, there's two answers, positive 1 and negative 1. So I'm going to take my equation, x plus 4, make it equal 1, make it equal negative 1. Now I subtract 4 from both sides to solve this one. I get x is negative 3. I subtract 4 from both sides on this one. I get x is negative 5. So again, I found two answers. Let's try this one. This one's a little harder because the 4 in the middle is negative. But you always start the same way. Move the 21 to the other side. This time it was negative 21, so I have to add it. So I have x squared minus 4x, leave a space, equals 21, because 0 plus 21 is 21. Take the middle, divide it by 2, square it, gives me 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides here. So this side is going to factor 2. Now remember, to factor it, all you really have to do is say x, and then take this half of the middle is what's always going to go there. And then 21 plus 4 is 25. At this point, you're always going to take the square root of both sides to cancel out that. So x minus 2 equals, now the square root of 25, remember, there's 2, 5 and negative 5. So I'm going to set x minus 2 equal to 5, and x minus 2 equal to negative 5. Now I solve them both, add 2 to both sides, I get 7. Add 2 to both sides, negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So it's not that hard as long as you just follow the steps. Okay, this last one, again, we're going to move 16 to the other side. So I get x squared plus 10x. Leave some space, negative 16. Take the middle term, divide it in 2. Square it, I get 25. I'm going to add 25 to both sides. This is now a perfect square trinomial, which factors to x plus 5 squared. Remember, it's always, that middle term divided by 2 is always what you put in here. And this side is 9. Take the square root of both sides, cancel out that. I get x plus 5 equals, now square root of 9 is obviously 2 answers, 3 and negative 3. So I'd set one equation equal to 3, one equal to negative 3. On this side, I'll subtract 5 from both sides. That gives me negative 2, because 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Subtract 5 on this side. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. So again, I end up with 2 answers. You might want to watch this video again and just review the steps one more time, because there are a lot of steps. And you can even keep this note sheet out when you're doing the homework assignment and just try to follow along with what we did. Okay? I know this is one of the harder things we've done, but you're all capable of doing this if you just try.